Good day, everyone. I am Mary Rose House Daniega, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English, and a first-year student from Negros Oriental State University, Shadon campus. So this time, I will be going to tackle a topic under the subject the child and adolescent learners and learning principles, which will also be related to cognitive developmental concepts. So here is the topic that I created. It's all about alteration of ideas. So these are the topic objectives. The students are expected to state an example situations of alteration of ideas, analyze the process on how and when the alteration of ideas happen, and discuss the relationship between alteration and of ideas and accommodation as concepts of cognitive development. So here we can find the first line, which is the preliminary activity, and here we can see, and I will be going to discuss the topic storyline. So here is a topic storyline that I created, which will be related to the topic. So as you can see in the first picture, it was a picture of myself when I was young. So when I was young, I was around 4 years old. I have known some things and ideas from my experiences and discoveries on the things I do and observed. Just like when I am playing Barbie dolls before, I knew that those are just a fake structure of a human being, not a true human being. So it is just a toy. And another one is when I play teddy bear. I know that those are just a toy, not a real bear. All of this that I've known on those past years of my life are from my observations and from what my parents taught me in those particular things. So in relation to alteration of ideas, I have experienced this as I am growing. I remember when I thought that the van is still called as boss. When my parents carried me when I was still so young, we are going to Dumaguete for shopping. I told my mother that we will ride on the small bus which is color white. My mother responded and said, it was not a bus, rather it is called a van. Bus is the bigger one, which is usually a color yellow, and what you are pertaining is called a van. So in that instances, my schema of a bus, which is a four-wheeled car driven on roads, has developed into a new schema for the concept of a van. So there is the alteration of ideas. So there's a change of ideas where my idea of or the concept that I have already on my mind about the bus, my ideas was changed because my mother told me about it, where where I called the van as a bus. So my idea on a bus has altered that not all four wheels is a bus, and that I thought bus is called a van. There is an alteration of ideas involved here. And this cognitive process, which involves the development and alteration of mental representations, schemas as I encounter new information, is called the concept of accommodation in cognitive development. Here, it presented the connection of alteration of ideas and the concept of accommodation in cognitive development. So, the presentation, let's go to the presentation of the topic or lesson. So, the main topic which I created is about alteration of ideas. So, the topic storyline that I've discussed a while ago will is in relation to our topic, which is the alteration of ideas. So alteration of ideas is also like modifying ideas and adapting new ideas that allow us to cope with change. So it is where we change the existing knowledge or forms a new schema that we have on a particular thing which we thought it is right but not. So we have to change the idea which we thought that it was right, just like the example that I've told you on the storyline. So, with the new information that we learned, alteration of ideas happen and we form new ideas from the new information that we learned that is right. Alteration of ideas is in connection to the concept of cognitive development, which is accommodation. As we learned the concept of accommodation on the past days, it was discussed by our instructor that accommodation is that of modifying ideas into the existing knowledge that you had nga imong nabalaan, and so you have to change those ideas kay dili siya sakto. So that is about the alteration of ideas, which will also be in connection, or what we call the accommodation, the concepts of accommodation in cognitive development. So, example. So, here is the example of the alteration of ideas. A child called a train a bus when he saw it for the first time. So, once he is informed that what he is looking at was a train and the difference between a train and bus, he modified his schema of a bus to include that buses are driven on a dirt roads, and he developed a new schema for concept of a train. So there is an alteration of ideas that occur. Summarize this. The child has a schema, or the knowledge already about the bus, and then when he saw a train, he called the train as a bus because all of his knowledge was just kanang mga sakyanan nga where the passengers will ride is called bus. So when he is informed by the older person than him nga kato siya is not a bus but it's a train, so the idea of him about the bus was changed or altered, or there is a process are altered, or there is a process of the alteration of ideas where nausob siya into nausob ang iyang concept into a train. So he already know there is a new information and he already know that it was a train. So new schema that you had are developed and old schemas are changed, then alteration of ideas happen or occur in these situations or instances. Your experiences, what is taught by the older people to you, and the new information presented and what you learn. So these are the situations where kanang mausob ang imong ideas, where there is an alteration of ideas. So your experiences, what is taught by the older people to you, the new information presented, and what you learn. So this is the activity that I created that will assess the student's learning. So give an example situations from your life experiences where alteration of ideas happens. So that's all, and thank you so much.